Good evening. I'm Kelly Worthman. Thank you for joining us here on CBS 4 and streaming on CBS News Colorado. It is now day 3 of the Russian attack in Ukraine. Tonight, we're hearing that Russian forces have blown up a gas pipeline in Ukraine's second largest city, which could cause an environmental catastrophe. While the assault has been essentially relentless, Ukrainian forces are holding them off. Here is a quick look at the latest headlines. The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States says they've destroyed more than 100 Russian ranks, and 14 fighter jets. We're also hearing that for the first time since the fighting started, people are actually trying to get back into Ukraine, many of them being Ukrainian men wanting to join the fight. Additionally, there are reports that while the U.S. evacuated its staff at the embassy, hundreds of local personnel were left behind. The United Nations says at least 240 civilians have died. Marissa Armas continuing our coverage tonight of the impact this conflict is having right here in Colorado. And Marissa, Coloradans are taking an emotional hit, and it could stretch to the economy.
Kelly, absolutely. But seeing those economic impacts on our economy is going to take a while, and that definitely has many people in our community worried.
As the war in Ukraine rages on, its impacts are being felt.
It's worrying about the long-term effects of the Russian invasion will be.
Father Chrysostom Frank from the Russian Greek Catholic community recently held a special mass for the Ukrainian people and wonders what more can be done.
Some people have now begun suggesting how we might collect money that could be used towards Catholic services in Ukraine.
And many Americans wonder if they'll have the funds to donate to Ukraine if the war causes drastic economic impacts.
For everyday Americans, sure, the gas pump, but a lot of that is also the recovery from the pandemic.
University of Colorado Director of International Affairs Thomas Zeiler says while this war isn't going to have an immediate impact on our economy like the stock market, he says the more immediate impact we'll see is that of the pandemic. But that could change depending on what happens in Ukraine.
I think it will affect Western Europeans much more than the average American.
On Saturday, the U.S., along with many allies, announced that several Russian banks would be expelled from SWIFT, which connects several international financial institutions, which Zeiler says could bring major implications for our European allies as the fight continues.
If we do that, then you're going to see a big effect of the sanctions and the economy.
And Zeiler says the U.S. plays a major role in all this. Many countries looking to us to decide when and how to intervene, but he says it's going to take a lot for us to do that. In Denver, Marissa Armas covering Colorado First.